You've been fed lies about attraction for far too long. If you're tired of being ghosted, ignored, or stuck chasing people who don't seem to care, you're in the right place. What I'm about to share will turn everything you think you know about relationships on its head. But be warned, this isn't for the faint-hearted. Ready to hear the truth? Let's dive in. In a world where you're told to be nice, always available, and overly accommodating, it's no wonder you feel overlooked or taken for granted. But here's the reality. Being nice alone doesn't work. What I'm about to reveal will challenge everything you've been taught about relationships. Stick with me, and you'll learn how to take control of attraction, flip the script, and stop wasting energy on people who don't deserve you. By the end of this, you'll know how to make them chase you instead. And it all begins with understanding human psychology and mastering the Stoic mindset. Let's break it down. First up, the power of ignoring and why it works. Everything you've been told about gaining attention is wrong. Society pushes the idea that if you want someone's love, affection, or respect, you need to chase them, shower them with attention, and prove your worth. But here's the real truth. The more you chase, the more they pull away. It's counterintuitive, but the power of ignoring is one of the strongest psychological tools at your disposal. In today's world, attention is the most sought-after currency. Social media is flooded with people vying for likes, comments, and followers. Everyone's inbox is buzzing with messages, notifications, and people trying to get noticed. So, if you're just another voice in the crowd, what sets you apart? Nothing. The hard truth is that attention is only valuable when it's scarce. When someone knows they can have your attention whenever they want, it loses its value. But if you hold back and make them earn it, you instantly become more desirable. Suddenly, you're not just another person in their DMs, you're the one they're obsessing over. They'll start wondering why you're not chasing them like everyone else and why you don't crave their validation. And that's where the power lies. And guess what? That's when they start chasing you. The power of ignoring isn't about being rude or playing hard to get. It's about creating space, making yourself a rare presence in a world where everyone's available 24/7. That scarcity drives desire. Just like luxury brands that limit their products, the harder something is to get, the more people want it. Next time you feel the urge to text someone constantly, stop. Ask yourself, what message am I sending by being so available instead of always reaching out? Pull back and give them the space to come to you. This isn't about mind games. It's about understanding that people value what they have to earn. Use the principle of scarcity to your advantage. In the early stages of getting to know someone, intentionally hold back a bit. Don't always be available to hang out, don't reply to texts immediately, and don't always initiate contact. This creates intrigue and makes them more invested in getting your attention. You're not ignoring them to be cold or mean, you're showing that your time and attention are valuable. Think about it, when someone is overly eager for your attention, it can come off as desperate, right? But when someone is confident enough to give you space, you start to wonder about them. That's because creating space makes you seem more desirable. Now, let's move on to the second point. Emotional triggers. Attraction isn't about logic. It's not about how much money you have, how good you look, or how well you treat someone. Attraction is driven by emotions. Think about your most intense relationships or crushes. Were they logical, calm experiences, or were they charged with intense emotions, maybe even a bit chaotic? The truth is, emotions fuel everything in relationships. People don't fall in love based on rational reasons, they fall in love because of how someone makes them feel. If you want to create attraction, you need to master the art of emotional triggers. And here's the catch. It's not just about making someone feel good all the time. A common mistake is thinking that showering someone with constant praise, gifts, and attention will win them over. But too much positivity can actually push people away. What really sparks attraction is an emotional roller coaster, those highs and lows that make things exciting. People crave suspense, excitement, and a sense of unpredictability. They want to feel like they're on a thrilling journey, not stuck in a smooth, predictable ride. So how do you trigger those emotions? You keep things dynamic. One day, give them your full attention, make them feel great. The next day, pull back a bit. Make them wonder why you're not as available. It's all about balancing the push and pull. By keeping them guessing, you trigger emotions like curiosity, excitement, and yes, even a little frustration. These emotions combine to create intense attraction. Don't be afraid to create emotional contrast. Compliment them, but also challenge them. Engage deeply, then step back and give some space. These emotional shifts are what keep people hooked. Have you ever experienced someone giving you all their attention one day, then suddenly pulling back? How did that make you feel? Chances are, it made you more interested in them. You probably found yourself thinking about them more, wondering what caused the shift. That's the power of emotional triggers. Now, let's talk about high-value behavior and the art of detachment. In today's world, everyone is trying to prove their worth. Social media is filled with people showcasing their lives, flaunting achievements, and seeking validation. But real value doesn't need to be proven. It's self-evident. And that's where detachment comes into play. High-value individuals don't chase others. They don't beg for attention or over-invest in people who aren't investing in them. They certainly don't make someone else the center of their universe. Instead, they remain detached not because they don't care, but because they know their worth. They don't rely on external validation to feel good about themselves. Detachment is attractive because it demonstrates confidence. It shows that you're secure in who you are and that you don't need anyone to complete you. When you're detached, people naturally gravitate toward you because you're not exuding desperate energy. Instead, you give off the vibe of someone who is valuable, focused on their own life, and not dependent on others' approval. Here's the key. Stop trying to prove your worth to others. Focus on building a life that makes you proud. Work on your fitness, career, hobbies, and mental well-being. When you're living a fulfilling life, you won't feel the need to chase others. Your value will speak for itself. Practice detachment in your relationships. Don't hold on to people who aren't reciprocating your efforts, and don't be afraid to walk away from those who don't appreciate your worth. When you're detached from the outcome, you gain control over the dynamic, and that's incredibly attractive. Have you ever noticed how people who are desperate for attention often get ignored, while those who are focused on their own goals seem to attract more interest? That's the power of detachment. When you stop seeking approval, you naturally become more attractive. There's also a psychological concept called self-validation. People who are self-validated don't need external approval to feel worthy. They already know their worth, and that quiet confidence draws others in. When you detach from needing validation from others, you radiate high value and become magnetic. Now, let's dive into mastering subtle influence. Influence isn't about manipulation. It's about deeply understanding human psychology so you can guide interactions in a way that benefits both parties. True influence isn't about forcing someone to do what you want. It's about leading them toward the outcome you desire by understanding how their mind works. In every interaction, there's an exchange of influence, whether you realize it or not. You're either influencing others, or they're influencing you. Those who understand subtle influence are the ones who always seem to get what they want without even trying. So how does subtle influence work? Let's break it down. It's not about making grand gestures or using obvious tactics. True influence comes from the subtle, almost invisible things you do. It's the way you make eye contact, the tone in your voice, the confidence in your posture, and the boundaries you set. These small, nuanced actions shape how people perceive and respond to you. Start practicing subtle influence in your daily life. One of the simplest ways is through your body language. Stand tall, keep your shoulders back, and maintain steady eye contact. This sends a powerful, unspoken message of confidence. Another technique is the power of mirroring. People naturally gravitate toward those who reflect their behavior. By subtly mirroring someone's body language or speech patterns, you create a subconscious connection, making them feel more at ease around you. But be careful, this has to be subtle. If they notice you're copying them, it can backfire and feel awkward instead of influential. Think about someone you know who seems to effortlessly get what they want. They don't shout, argue, or push their opinions on others. Yet they often achieve their goals. That's because they've mastered the art of subtle influence. They understand how to guide conversations, project confidence, and make others feel like agreeing with them is the best choice. In today's world, emotions are constantly on display. Whether through social media, texting, or face-to-face interactions, people often react impulsively, letting their emotions take control. But here's the truth. The more reactive you are, the less control you hold. And when you lose control, you become less attractive, both in personal and professional interactions. Developing Stoic calm is one of the most powerful traits you can possess. It's the ability to stay composed no matter the chaos around you. When you control your emotions instead of letting them control you, you become a force that others can't help but respect. People are naturally drawn to those who maintain their composure under pressure. Think about it. When everyone around you is losing control, the calmest person in the room instantly stands out. That person becomes the leader, the one others turn to for strength and guidance. Staying calm signals confidence and control, qualities that are undeniably attractive. The next time you feel a rush of emotions, whether it's anger, frustration, or excitement, pause. Take a deep breath and allow yourself a moment to process before reacting. This simple act of self-discipline can drastically shift how others perceive you. When you master your emotions, you become the person others look to for strength. This is tied to a concept called emotional contagion. People tend to reflect the emotions of those around them. If you're calm, those around you will feel calmer. But if you're reactive, others will follow suit. By cultivating Stoic calm, you naturally influence the emotional state of everyone around you, making you more attractive and respected. Now let's explore the power of silence. Most people feel uneasy with silence, rushing to fill it with idle chatter because they think it means something is wrong. But when you're comfortable with silence, you're demonstrating a deep sense of confidence. You're signaling that you don't need to be the center of attention, and you're secure in who you are. Silence speaks volumes, often more than words ever could. In relationships, silence can be a game changer. When you don't rush to respond or constantly fill the air with words, you create a tension, the good kind that keeps people intrigued. Think about it. The more you talk, the more you reveal. And the more you reveal, the less mystery there is about you. It's mystery that keeps people curious and engaged. Imagine you're texting someone new. Instead of replying to every message instantly, you wait, you take your time. When you do respond, your answers are thoughtful, brief, and engaging. This keeps the other person guessing, wondering when they'll hear from you next. That silence, that pause, builds anticipation, and anticipation is incredibly attractive. Try this the next time you're in a conversation. When someone asks you a question, pause before you respond. Make eye contact, let them feel the weight of your presence. This moment of silence creates suspense, and suspense leads to heightened interest. Let's take it a step further with the concept of mystery and distance. Here's a truth that's hard for many to accept. People don't value what they fully understand. The more predictable you are, the less interesting you become. This is especially true in relationships. If you reveal everything about yourself too soon, your thoughts, your feelings, your entire life story, you eliminate the mystery. You become an open book, and let's face it, people rarely get excited about reading a book when they already know the ending. Mystery is powerful because it keeps people engaged. When someone doesn't know everything about you, their curiosity grows. They want to know more, and the less you reveal, the more intrigued they become. Combine this with a little distance, and you become irresistible. This isn't about playing games, it's about understanding human nature. The more someone feels they can't fully have you, the more they'll want you. Think about how often people overshare on social media pictures, status updates, personal thoughts. It's all out there for the world to see. Now, imagine someone who doesn't do that, someone who keeps parts of their life private. They instantly become more intriguing, right? That's the power of mystery. Keep parts of yourself private, especially early on in a relationship. Don't rush to share all your personal details. Let them earn your trust gradually. The slower you reveal who you are, the longer you maintain their interest. Now, let's talk about rejection. It sucks, right? No one enjoys it. But what if I told you rejection could actually become one of your greatest assets? Most people fear rejection because they take it personally, seeing it as a reflection of their worth. Here's the truth. Rejection is never about you. It's about the other person's preferences, biases, or even their emotional baggage. Once you realize that, rejection stops being personal and becomes just a part of life. Here's where the power comes in. It's all about how you respond to rejection. Many people feel hurt or frustrated when they're turned down, and some even lash out. But those who truly thrive, the high-value individuals, flip the script. They take rejection in stride with grace and confidence. Instead of reacting emotionally, they move on without letting it shake their self-worth. And that is incredibly attractive. Imagine you ask someone out and they say no. For most, that would be a hit to their ego. But instead of taking it personally, you smile, say no problem, and walk away confidently. Here's the twist: by responding this way, you show you're not desperate, that you're secure enough to handle rejection without letting it define you. That person is going to remember how calmly you handled it, and they might even second-guess their decision. Every time you face rejection, it's an opportunity to demonstrate your emotional strength. The more you master this, the more attractive and respected you become. It's never about the rejection itself, it's all about how you handle it. Is using psychology in relationships manipulation? Some might say yes, but there's a clear distinction. Manipulation involves deceiving someone to serve your own needs without considering their feelings or well-being. Strategy, on the other hand, is about understanding human behavior and using that knowledge to create a relationship dynamic that benefits both parties. When you grasp how people think, you can create conditions where attraction naturally grows. That's not manipulation, that's simply being smart. The key is staying ethical. You're not trying to trick someone into liking you, you're building a dynamic where both partners are equally invested. For example, in a relationship, instead of constantly seeking validation, you pull back at times, allowing space for your partner to come to you. You're not manipulating them, but creating a healthy balance where both people give and receive equally. Always check your intentions. If your aim is mutual respect and attraction, you're using strategy. But if your goal is purely selfish, you might be crossing into manipulation. Keep it ethical, and you'll see the best results. We've touched on confidence, detachment, and emotional control. But the final piece of the puzzle is vulnerability. It might seem contradictory, but hear me out. Confidence is attractive because it shows strength, but vulnerability is attractive because it shows authenticity. When you strike a balance between the two, you become unstoppable. Most people avoid showing vulnerability because they think it makes them appear weak. But in reality, being vulnerable from a place of strength makes you more relatable and appealing. It shows you're confident enough to admit your flaws, express your emotions, and be real. In a world where so many people hide behind masks, being genuine is a rare and valuable quality. Imagine you're having a conversation with someone. Instead of pretending to be perfect, you admit you face struggles, whether it's a fear, a failure, or an insecurity. But here's the key. You're not seeking pity or validation. You're simply being honest. That combination of vulnerability and confidence creates a deeper connection. It shows you're human, and that's incredibly attractive. Don't be afraid to let your guard down when it feels right. The trick is doing so from a place of confidence. When you're comfortable with your vulnerabilities, others will feel more connected to you, and that connection fuels attraction. Now, you've unlocked some insights most people never consider when it comes to relationships and attraction. So what's next? Will you keep following the crowd, or will you take control of your story? The choice is yours. Remember, attraction isn't just about what you say, it's about what you don't say. It's about understanding what works and having the courage to act on it. So, are you ready to take control? If this resonated with you, don't stop here. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and if you want to support us in creating more high-quality videos, consider joining our channel memberships. I'd love to hear from you. What's the biggest insight you're taking away today? Drop it in the comments, and let's talk about how you're going to apply it. Thanks for watching.